Hit record right now. There we go. And without further ado, I guess, welcome Sabrina.
Hello, everyone. Let me put back my glasses on so I can see everything. How are you this morning? I hope you guys are doing great. Thank you so much for coming to this talk. I'm just going to start right away so I don't take too much of your time. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Please let me know if you see it. Thumbs up.
We got it.
Okay. So first of all, I want to thank the Beverly Public Library for allowing me to do this, and obviously Green Beverly, as I'm a mentor and a coach on Green Beverly about mostly packaging, zero waste, and just overall waste reduction. So thank you so much for inviting me. I love talking about trash, and it's just crazy that people want to hear me talking about trash. So I should start by introducing myself. I'm Sabrina Auclair. I am a Colombian native, South America, and I've been living in Beverly for 5 years. Part of the community now. You're a great community. I love it here. I live here, and now I work here. So thank you so much for that. Let me keep moving. Okay, so I'm going to just read the introduction that the Beverly Public Library wrote for me because I'm terrible at it. So I'm just going to read whatever they did. So looking to reduce waste in your life? Join Sabrina Auclair to learn small changes that anyone can do to become more eco-friendly. Sabrina Auclair is the owner and founder of Unpacked Living, a local zero waste store and refillery servicing the North Shore since 2019. That's actually very nicely put. That's what I do. This is my store. Some of you have been here already. Some of you have not. You're more than welcome to come. We are right downtown on Cabot Street. Right now, there's a lovely construction going on right in front of my store. So I apologize if some noises are in the background. Hopefully not, but that's what's happening. My store is 100% dedicated to eco-friendly sustainability, zero waste, waste reduction, locally owned. I love to support women-owned businesses and locally owned businesses. And I think zero waste, in a way, it's a whole movement that evolves and revolves around so many small topics aside from the whole waste reduction. So let's start talking about these, because even though that it sounds very fancy that I own a store and you know, I'm super qualified to give you advice on sustainability. The truth is, I'm just a human being. I'm just any other person, like any other person. I used to commute. I used to have a full-time job, and I'm just sorry about that. I'm just trying to do my best, because I realize that it is not about how much we recycle. It is about how much we waste. The problem of waste is it's a global problem. So I want to start by showing you guys a video about it. Let me get out of here and go right here so we can see these. That explains a little bit more. All right, let's get out of here. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's that video, I like it a lot. It's the truth about what is happening right now in the environment, and people get really surprised when I say that I do not support recycling. People think that when they say, oh, I love recycling, I'm an avid recycler, and they feel so proud of it, they're doing much. And I don't want to diminish the efforts of anybody, but the problem of waste overall is that recycling is also waste. Recycling is far from being the solution, and it's also a way of allowing us to be wasteful. So continuing with the recycling topic, just because something says it's recyclable, it doesn't mean it will be recycled. Do not rely on that triangle. That triangle, I want to be very, very clear about this. That triangle doesn't mean that something is recyclable. It just determines the kind of plastic, the kind of resin something is made out of. People fight all the time. If you belong to a community group on Facebook or pretty much anywhere that, oh, my city says they take plastics from 1 to 7 and now they don't, and like, what does this mean? And it's so confusing. Well, yes, we were misled to think that just because something has that little arrow chasing each other symbol, it means that it's recyclable and I can put it in the bin. Big mistake. So the best moment to stop using plastic was 20 years ago, and the second best moment is today. So I hope that I can teach you something today and make an imprint, because my goal right now is to obviously teach you about the ways of the zero waste, which is an ideology, but anybody can do it. If I did, you can too, and it's not impossible. And every single effort we make, it's a big step. So let's talk about waste, right? Let's get to it. What is waste? According to Wikipedia, it's unwanted or unusable materials. Waste is any substance which is discarded after primary use or is worthless, defective, and of no use. Sounds familiar? Yeah, trash, but also recycling. Examples include municipal solid waste, hazardous waste, wastewater, which contains bodily waste like feces and urine, something we don't really think about, surface runoff, radioactive waste, and there's many other types of waste like e-waste, food waste, energy waste, water waste, industrial waste, and time waste. We also waste our time a lot. I'm not gonna get into each of these, but you get the general idea that there is a lot of type of wastes, not just trash. There's a lot of them. Only thing that all of this has in common is that humans created waste. If this was millions of years ago, nature found a way to be a circular kind of ecosystem, and the earth do not create waste. We do. The world generates at least 3.5 million tons of plastic and other solid waste a day. 10 times the amount of a century ago, according to the World Bank researches. The US is the king of trash, producing a world-leading 250 million tons a year, roughly 4.4 pounds of trash per person per day. So think about it this way. You, as a human being, as just one person, produce 4 pounds of trash each day, of some kind of waste each day. So our goal as zero wasters, or as people that wants to be more sustainable, is to reduce that number. So when we think about globally, like climate change and global problems and the plastic problems is too much. When we talk about tons and millions and billions and microplastics is too much. So we have to start like reducing and narrowing that to what is my impact? What am I doing and what can I do? So this is a good way to start. how can I reduce my daily waste? What can I change? What can I do? So let's talk about what is zero waste. In Wikipedia, there is a definition that says that it's a set of principles concentrated on waste prevention, that's a keyword, that encourages the redesign of resource life cycles so that all products are reused. The goal is for no trash to be sent to landfills, incinerators, or the ocean. Currently, only 9% of plastic is actually recycled. In a zero waste system, material will be reused until the optimum level of consumption. So zero waste doesn't mean that you have to live off the grid, in the woods, hunting and harvesting and growing your own food and not baiting and no. Zero waste is just a lifestyle that allows us to rethink the way we live, the way we consume. It's basically becoming a more aware human being and aware consumerist, because we had been victims of consumerism and marketing and advertising for decades, pretty much since the 1940s. So as I mentioned before, and this is my catchphrase, I'm going to trademark this, waste prevention is key instead of waste management. Waste management has failed us over and over. We know recycling doesn't work, trash pickup doesn't work. We know waste management of any kind, it's a flawed system and it's not a solution. It's just a little dimple in the face of all the plastic waste and all the just waste in general that we have. So waste prevention, it's better than waste management. There is a misconception about zero waste around that you have to fit your trash for a year in a mason jar, the mason jar ideal that influencers and other zero waste defenders say, like, oh, if you don't do this, then you're not really zero waste. I don't see it that way. That is not true. There's not a manual to how to be a more sustainable environmentalist person. So let's discard that mason jar thing. Now let's talk about plastic free, because when we talk about waste, there are so many kinds of waste, but the one that is most hard to deal with and it's producing the most problems, it's plastic waste. So what is plastic free? Plastic free has no definition. If you look for it in like Wikipedia or like there's like a written definition to it, there's not. So I'm going to tell you what it means to me after almost 4 years of living this way and trying my best to avoid it. So plastic free, it's a process in which I realized how much of the plastic I bought was avoidable. It's a personal battle against disposables or single-use plastics as we know them. By single-use, I mean anything that was designed to be used once, not just things like plastic bags and takeaway coffee cups, but also like plastic bottles of shampoo, because you just use a plastic bottle of shampoo once. It doesn't matter if you have it for a certain amount of months. While the container might last a few months, it is not designed to be refilled and therefore is single use. It is a challenge that takes patience and unlearning a lot of preconceptions we have in our minds about waste and recycling, like debunking the whole recycling system. You think that you can just buy anything because you can recycle it. So that has to switch in our minds. It is the active avoidance and refusing of the material in the first place. That's actually called recycling, even if it's inconvenient. By inconvenient, I mean, the world is not designed for us, or it doesn't make it easy for us, the consumers, to just find these amazing products that are not packaged in plastic, right? If you go to any grocery store, you're going to see plastic everywhere. So it's not easy, it's inconvenient. You have to go out of your way and out of your comfort zone to actually do better. It is a newfound love and respect for the planet and the understanding of the balance that we broke, because as we clarified before, we did this, waste is our fault. And plastic free, finally, it's an ideal, it's a goal, and it's a journey. let's keep going. So this is my personal plastic back in 2019. I decided to take photographic evidence of my own journey at the beginning of January 2019. When I decided to do something about it, I took every single piece of plastic or plastic product that I had in my house. This doesn't include makeup. I still have a ton of plastic makeup that I haven't bought in 4 years. So probably it's all gross, but I still have it. So this is pretty much every single bottle, container, everything that contains plastic and is made out of plastic that was in my house back in 2019. Started the journey, stopped buying plastic, started replacing things. In 2020, it went down to these 80 items. 2021, we're down to 60 items. Like, as you can see, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to work towards, because the first thing you should do is use what you have. Going zero waste or going plastic free or deciding to change your life doesn't mean that you throw everything away and buy something new. It means you use what you have and then you start finding solutions or alternatives to that specific product that you have. Or you just stop using things that you think you need, but you really don't. So things that you bought that you really can do without. And this was this past January. So I went down to 39 items. These are mostly things that we never use or we use a lot and it's hard to find without plastic, like bleach. Bleach is something that it's, you know, it's something, medicine like aspirin and Benadryl and things like that. Sadly, medicine is something that you can avoid when it comes to plastic waste. But we're doing really good. The left part of this picture is actually items that have been refilled. So all of these, the Woolite, the Better Life, the white vinegar, these are all items that are in plastic, but I'm reusing this plastic. So again, it's not getting rid of it, it's finding ways to avoid the waste. So this is my own personal journey. You came here to see what I've done. So taking photographic evidence of your own journey allows you to realize how well you do, because sometimes you think it's not enough. It's so overwhelming, the plastic and the waste problem in the world, that you think like, oh, if I just don't use a straw, I'm not doing much. Don't let anybody take you down. Don't let anybody bring you down saying like, oh, whatever we do, it doesn't matter. It does matter. Look at this. This is evidence that it does. Every single little change and little thing that you do in order to avoid hurting the environment, it's greatly appreciated and it adds up. So now I'm going to tell you, what can you do? What can we do? What can anybody do to be more sustainable, be more plastic free, be more zero waste? The key is the R's. There used to be 3 R's, which were the first 3: refuse, reduce, reuse, and recycle. But then we know recycle doesn't work. So recycle should be last. Recycle should be your last resort, which is waste. When you throw something out in either bin, it's waste. So that should be the last. The first thing you can do, it's obviously refusing. Refuse is prevention. Refuse to buy something that is going to need some kind of waste management in the future. Buy things that are quality, that are going to last you. Buy things that do not have packaging. Get things that, just don't get things you don't need. That's the whole point of refuse. Just get whatever you actually need, and our needs are very basic. So we actually have a lot. The second step is reduce. So that's what I just showed you in the pictures. Work with what you have and make a plan in your head, audit your own waste, and just start reducing. It takes time. It has taken me 4 years. So be patient with yourself and start reducing. Reuse, keyword, find ways to keep using what you have. In the reduce journey, reuse is key. Find just ways to reuse whatever you have around. Then repurposing comes in mind, because then you can fix your clothes, you can find new ways to give new life to the things you already own. The point number 5 is refill, which is dear to my heart, because refilling is not available. The world doesn't work that way, right? Companies want us to buy their trash, buy their plastic, and keep buying more and more and more and more without thinking about it. But now in Beverly, we have a refill store right here, right behind me. So now everybody has the option to come with their own bottles, with their own containers, and refill. This is white vinegar from my store. You can bring your jars and refill endless things. So now you don't have to buy any more bottles. Rot, it's composting. Composting is key to waste reduction. Composting is just the best thing that anybody can do, because organic matter should not go in the trash. That's a whole different dimension of waste management, but it's a kind of waste management that is beneficial to the earth. So composting in Beverly right now is not only free, but it's also very affordable for people that don't have access to the free point. That so there is a pilot, a composting pilot program going right now. You can go to the Beverly page, the city page, sign up for it, and then drop your compost in this free drop-off point that the city has. If not, if you want just like a normal trash pickup kind of service, Black Earth Compost is our partner with the city of Beverly, and we get a special rate for having them as our compost provider. Amazing company, amazing people. You can pick up your bin right here in my store. So composting is a huge step in order to reduce your waste. The 7, 8, and 9 step of the R, so rethink, repair, and recycle, are also key. Rethink is just rethink, you know, think outside the box. Think what can you do, be creative, and just rethink the way you're doing things. Repair, we all should have the right to repair our clothes, our electronics. And that is something that federal wise, everybody's, you know, fighting about the right to repair. Because if you have something wrong with your car, you don't just throw it away and buy a new one, right? I mean, no, you want to repair it. So that should be the law for everything else. In my country, in Colombia, we repair everything. We're not nearly as wasteful as the American culture is. So it is shocking to me that it is more expensive to repair something than to buy a new one. And that is consumerism in its peak. And then recycle. Like I mentioned, recycle should be your last resource. Recycle should be just that step that we are actively trying to avoid, but it's there to help. It's there to help us. Recycling bins should not be more full. They should be less full. Let's fill it a little bit less every time. Please do not throw out perfectly good items to be more sustainable. That is not sustainability. Do not acquire things that you don't need to be more sustainable, because that is also not sustainability. Keep using what you have. And if you don't need it, then don't buy it. I love this phrase about from Sir David Attenborough. He's my hero. We all love it. And this is how I'm gonna end this talk, and then I'm gonna let you guys ask me anything. The best motto to think about is not waste things. Don't waste electricity, don't waste paper, don't waste food. Live the way you want to live, but just don't waste. Look after the natural world, the animals in it, and the plants in it too. This is their planet as well as ours, so don't waste them. That's it. That's what we're doing. Zero waste and plastic free is not an extreme measure. It's just this. It's just living our lives without being wasteful, of actively trying to avoid hurting the environment, the animals, and ourselves. Because I don't know if you saw the news, but 2 days ago, scientists discovered microplastics in our blood. So now we are filled with plastic too, and that's gonna be a problem in the future. So we really need to rethink what we're doing. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I guess we can start by questioning. Oh, I forgot to show you this. So this is I added this yesterday. So this is the hierarchy, and it's very basic. If the base of the pyramid is use what you have. If you can't, you borrow, you swap, you thrift, you make it, and the last resort, you buy it. But if you're gonna buy something, make sure you're buying from sustainable companies and brands that are not hurting the environment, and try to, be a conscious buyer. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to point out that the library borrowing is very green.
Yes,
and we
yes.
also have a library of things, so you don't have to buy, say, a soil meter or a sewing machine, or, I'm just gonna like jump in on this. So, we do have things as well, and you can borrow them and not buy them. And I will also keep an eye on chat if you want to put your questions in chat rather than unmute yourself, so I can help with the questions on that part.
I have a question.
Yes, Susan.
You mentioned shampoo. Like, say I don't like scents and I have dandruff. If I buy a bar, is it going to have scent, and is it going to make more dandruff?
So the good thing about this whole plastic-free and zero waste revolution since pretty much 2018, this is a very new industry, is that nowadays you have a ton of options, Susan. You can come to my store. I can help you with that. I myself have dandruff too, which is called seborrheic dermatitis for a medical term. And there are ways. The way I say to people is, do not feel bad if you have to buy something that it's going to make your life better in plastic. Because I have that medical situation too, medical condition too, I actually have to buy a medicated shampoo that obviously comes in plastic, but it's making my way of life better. It's something that has to do with health. When it comes to health, you can't fight plastic waste, because that is actually necessary plastic. The way I see it is, plastic is a substance. It's a material, it's a man-made material that we can satanize it. We can make it the bad villain here, because it is a revolutionary material. It's lightweight, it's waterproof. It has allowed us to evolve as a human race, like computers and our aerodynamics and rocket ships, and our cell phones are made of plastic. So the plastic itself is not bad, but it should be regulated as a hazardous material. Plastic should have never made it into our houses and into everything that we own. So that's when it became out of control. So what we're trying to do here is like go back in time to the 1940s, when Bakelite was not even a thing, and just live our life plastic free, except when it's absolutely necessary. Plastic should be regulated as a hazardous material because it's hurting us and it's hurting the planet. But yeah, absolutely, it should be used, like I said, in airplanes, in technology, to help us move forward and be progressive. But regulations are key, like everything. So yes, to answer your question, yes, we have shampoos that are unscented. I'm also eczema prone, so everything is unscented in my store. Not everything we have obviously scented, but I do have everything unscented. We do have bar shampoos that are unscented, and we do have some tricks for regulating dandruff, but it's a medical condition. So I can tell you what I do and you can try, and it is actually a way to reduce waste, but you can come to my store and we can talk about it. Anybody else?
We have some in the chat. There are a few. Why is silicone better than plastic?
Okay, so that's a good question. Silicone is a type of plastic, it's a polymer, but silicone is an inert material. The problem with plastics in general is that they leach toxins in our everything. Plastic is made from petroleum. If you didn't know, oil and gas are the fuelers of plastic. Plastic is a waste material. It's a waste thing that comes out of refining petroleum. So that's why it is so cheap and so pushed down our throats. Silicone, it's a material that is an inert kind of plastic, and it's mixed with silica, which comes from sand, and it doesn't leach. It's dead. It's not active. It doesn't have BPAs. It doesn't have phthalates. It doesn't have hormone disruptive additives like plastic does. Every single kind of plastic, even bioplastics, I want to point that out, have some sort of process that involves X amount of hazardous materials. And even if you think that, oh, it's BPA free, it's not hurting me, oh, it's the kind that I can heat up in the microwave, you don't want to heat plastic up. Please don't do that. So silicone, it's a safer kind of plastic. It's still a plastic, but it's inert and durable, malleable, waterproof. So it has all the benefits that plastic has. It's light too, but it's not leaching things in our foods and in our systems. It's not, it can be heated, it's dead, it's an inert material. So when you heat it up or when you freeze it up, it's not changing its composition. I hope that answers your question. Okay.
Okay, here's the next chat question. My biggest problem is grocery shopping and buying food without plastic. I already bring my own bags, but everything is sealed in plastic. Is there anything I can do? Any tips?
Well, this is where when I pointed out that living plastic free and living zero waste, it's sort of getting out of your comfort zone and going a little bit into, you know, not so convenient way of doing groceries. But yeah, there's a number of things you can do. You can rely on your farmers market. You can sign up for a CSA, a local CSA, which not only supports local farmers and local companies, but it's 100% plastic free. They will deliver it to you. You can pick it up. The farmers market in Beverly is on Mondays. You can bring your own bags, bottles. They're happy to sell you anything without any kind of waste. The other thing about actively trying to buy groceries with no plastic is being more vocal about it, like complain, you know, complaining, saying something. If you have a brand that you love, but they package everything in plastic, send them an email, you know, saying like, hey, I love your brand and I would love for you to be more eco-friendly, maybe find a way. There are so many ways. But I think buying local and supporting local local small businesses like grocery shops, they are more able to cater to your needs of plastic free than, let's say, Shaw's or Stop and Shop. You can't go to Stop and Shop and say like, hey, can you like take this plastic cup? No, but you can go to the Organic Rainbow on Rantoul Street. You can go to A New Leaf. You can go even to Henry's and talk to them and say like, hey, I would like to buy something without plastic. Is there a way? Like, can I just get it from the back? And I don't want to say like be sneaky, but there are ways to buy things without plastic. For example, in Whole Foods, just don't use their plastic bags. Just bring your own bags. Like just use whatever you have at home. And then self-checkout. If you self-checkout, they're not going to notice. And then that's sneaky, I know, and it goes against rules. But it's not hurting anyone, and it's avoiding plastic, and it's making a statement. Like if I grab 2 apples and just don't put them in a bag and just put them directly on the self-checkout, say 2 apples and just put them in my bag, who am I hurting? Nobody, right? So there are ways, there are places, there are CSAs that people can sign up for, even when it comes to meat, dairy, and actually cheeses and stuff like that is a harder thing to do. It used to be easier pre-pandemic, but now it's bad. There are actually local butchers, even Whole Foods, and there is Walden Meat Company, which is a CSA that also supports local farmers and also supports like local small businesses that deliver to your door. And at Whole Foods, you can actually ask the counter, like the meat counter, to not put your things in a bag, to just put it in paper. So there are a few ways, and yes, you have to go to multiple stores or order online or do things that might not be convenient to just like choose one store and just go and buy everything. But if you want to reduce your waste, you know, there are ways. I always use a rule of thumb in my grocery shopping that it's 80% plastic free and 20% plastic, because sometimes I have to buy, you know, a yogurt or cream cheese or something that just comes in plastic, and I don't want to, you know, go out of my way to make bread, for example. So that 80-20, it's a good rule of thumb to have in your own life to, you know, just don't make it hard on yourself. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Another chat. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
Can you
Shelly.
show your email address again? I didn't write it down. Your
Oh
email
yeah, of
address.
course. Yeah. So my email address
Yeah.
is contact@unpackedliving.com.
Contact. Yeah.
I'll write it on the chat too, at unpackedliving.com.
Okay, Unpacked. Thank you.
It's in the chat for everyone if they need it. So the next question says, would you describe some of the items in your store, please? Wow. So we sell over 550 things. In the refill section right behind me, we call it the refill bar. We have over 80 products available, anything from household cleaners like glass cleaner, floor cleaner, tub and tile cleaner, wood cleaner, to shampoo, conditioner, lotions, even maple syrup. This right behind me is maple syrup. We have sunscreen. We have some of the odd things that you can find here: white vinegar, Epsom salts, baking soda, toothpaste, deodorant, dry shampoo, bath salts, alcohol. We also sell like just rubbing alcohol, antibacterial like hand sanitizer, but beauty oils, like like I said, we have over 80 products, so it's hard to name them all, but everything. You can actually check my website, unpackedliving.com. There is a refill menu right there where you can actually see the whole list and the price per ounce, so you can plan ahead if you want to come to refill something. Other items that are in my store are everything plastic free you can think of: bar shampoo, bar conditioners, face bars, beauty products, makeup, baby products, a lot of mason jar accessories. Mason jars are amazing vessels for everything, and I'm a huge fan. But then you get like 100 of them in your house and you don't know what to do with them. We have an incredible amount of accessories. You can make them into toothbrush holders, into spray bottles, into pumps, into piggy banks. There's a ton of things here for that. We sell every single product you can think of plastic free. We have toys, we have laundry detergent plastic free. So there's a lot of things in here.
Yes, I
throw
found the
in.
laundry detergent in which you just take off a little strip and everything, the box is recyclable.
Yeah,
I also use it's bamboo, knife, fork, straw, all of that, and you can, I think mine's Good Earth or something.
so we
Yeah.
carry Earth Breeze. This is plastic free laundry detergent. Is like a paper sheet
Yeah.
that you put in your washing machine and it does your laundry. It's a great alternative. We also have laundry pods. We also have laundry liquid. We have laundry powder. We have a ton of alternatives here. Like if you don't want to use plastic, we got you.
Yeah, that's what I've been using for laundry. I'm using up the stuff that I have, but I use
Mhm.
that too. I use bamboo utensils and such instead of when I go out, skip the
Yes.
plastic. So I've done a few small things.
Thank you, Shelley. That is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'd like to see your list of items. So
Yeah,
thank you
of
for
course.
the email address.
Anybody else has a question?
Mm,
Looks like we're, oh, Christine.
Christine.
Hi.
Hi.
I was going to say, what do you think are the top easiest things you can do? Maybe it's something in your store that can help people get on this non-plastic. Or what do you think the top 5 things that you can do locally? Well, you kind of discussed that. Like, okay, what are the top 5 things in your store that we could purchase that would make a difference?
Great question. So many of the basic things we use in our daily lives are the most wasteful ones, and we don't notice. Toothbrushes, bamboo toothbrushes. We sell bamboo toothbrushes. So anything that is related to our own like self-care kind of routine, deodorant, floss, toothbrush, shampoo, um, and like just general like soap. I always say to people, bars are your best friends. Bars are everything. So you don't need body wash. I do sell body wash, but you don't need body wash. You don't need plastic around your bottle, just like you saw in the video. Bar shampoo, it's a thing. It's there. There are tons of options. Same as bar conditioner. You don't need a bar. You don't need a liquid for to clean your face. There are bars for that. We even have bar dish soap. So things don't have to come in a liquid form. I guess that's my answer. So the top 5 things would be toothbrush, change it for a bamboo toothbrush. Floss, change to biodegradable in a cardboard floss or refillable floss. Toothpaste, you can switch to toothpaste tablets or toothpaste that comes in an aluminum tube instead of plastic. Yes, it exists. And just rely on bars. Use a bar of soap for your body, a bar of soap for your face, a bar of soap for your shampoo and conditioner, and even for your dishes. And just, you know, right there, you just lost like 7 bottles of plastic.
Okay.
Other things you can do to avoid waste in general is walk more, buy less, turn the lights off, disconnect your appliances, don't waste water, and maybe grow a plant or two, you know? Just we sell plants too here, by the way, but you can like growing your own food or growing just having a plant in your home can clean the air around you. Is the best air filter in the world. Composting, it's key. It's just the best thing anybody can do to reduce waste. It's not so much about things you can purchase, but things you can already do at home to be more conscious about, what you're doing. So yeah, just don't waste water. Just like this here David said, don't waste water, don't waste electricity. Gas prices are through the roof. So, look into solar panels, look into electric vehicles. Electric vehicles are not the answer, but there's certainly a more sustainable option for anybody. Ride a bike, walk more. There are so many things that enjoy the outside. There is a kind of waste that people don't talk about much, and it's e-waste. E-waste is not so much electronic waste, but internet waste. Some people don't know that having your emails in, on the internet forever, like some people have their inboxes with like 5,000 or more emails just sitting there not being clean, that is a huge and a major producer of carbon dioxide, like carbon footprint, because the internet is housed on these massive buildings that have all this information archived. You know, those emails exist there because you never erase them. So that heat, that produces a lot of heat, having these machines going, these what do you call those, not modems but
Server.
servers. Thank you. These massive servers in these buildings that house your information produces a lot of heat, and it's a massive amount of energy that those servers take. So cleaning your inbox once in a while, getting rid of your 1997 Hotmail emails or your chains or all this information, pictures that you're like just hosting on the cloud, that is a form of waste, and we should actively be avoiding it to not house so much. That is a kind of hoarding waste that we just have emails and emails and emails and emails and pictures and videos and everything just hosted. That exists, that has a kind of waste that exists somewhere. So this mental picture that we have, that once the waste is gone, it's gone. I call it, and I heard this from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He describes it, and I think it's just a great analogy. When it comes to waste, it's like saying that there is a section of a public pool that is designated for peeing. So there is a section where you can pee in the pool, and how does that sound? It sounds like, oh, it's not going to affect the people on the other side of the same pool. Same thing applies to waste. The waste, people say like, oh, China is more wasteful. Oh, it's not our fault. It's just everybody else. It's other countries. Do you think you live in a different planet? The ocean is our ocean. That trash that is wasted in Thailand is gonna come to us. We share the same planet. Trash is not going anywhere. It's ridiculous to think that when you put something out in the bin, it's just taken away to this magical land where everything gets recycled and made into new things. First of all, plastic is not recycled ever. Plastic is downcycled into something else. When something is recycled, is that definition is with something that is one thing, it's made into the exact same thing. When a glass bottle, it's made into a glass bottle, that is recycling. When a glass bottle, it's crushed and downgraded to road aggregate to build our roads, which is what happens in Massachusetts, that is not recycling, that is downcycling. Plastic, it's always downcycled. You don't make plastic bottles out of plastic bottles. You make nylon out of plastic bottles, and that nylon is sewn into polyester clothes or plastic bags, and then at some point plastic cannot be recycled anymore and becomes trash, and that's when it's a big problem. So be more careful when buying plastic. We have a ton of recycling collections here because as much as I actively avoid recycling, I also believe in it, and I do think that if it's not avoidable, we should just use whatever resources we have. So there is a lot of plastic that you can recycle here in my store. Also, if you go to my website, there's a list of everything we can take. Hard to recycle plastic like contacts, Brita filters, toothpaste tubes, toothbrushes, floss containers, everything related to shaving, like just disposable razors. So we have a lot here in my store. We are a store dedicated, or I say we like there's a ton of people, it's just me. I dedicated my life and my store to actively help people avoid waste and be better and make the necessary changes in every budget to be more just environmentally friendly as much as I can.
I bought some silicone bags. I use them at home, but you got me thinking maybe some of the large ones I can take to the supermarket and put in my broccoli, asparagus, and apples
Absolutely.
instead of the plastic
Yes.
bags. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna try that.
use everything you have. You should see the
Yeah.
way I do groceries. It looks insane, but I do not come home with a ton of plastic, trust me.
There are two more questions in chat that are just,
Thank you.
do you have refillable milk?
So when it comes to, no, I do not have any food related items in my store. I do not sell food because sadly, Massachusetts regulations to sell food in bulk are insane. And, and that's why we don't find these kinds of markets really close to us. More in Vermont, Maine, or Connecticut, you can find these kinds of, but not in Massachusetts. There are a few places where you can go and buy things in bulk, but they are not in Beverly. Like Concord has a great market. Also in my website, you can find an entire directory, town by town, of where can you find some things, like where can you buy some things in bulk, not only household cleaners and stuff like that, but some food. There is nothing really close to us. Most of it is Somerville, Cambridge, or West Mass, that they have co-ops. We have no co-ops here. We have the farmers market. But to answer your question, no, I do not sell refillable milk. I do not drink milk. I can't. But my advice for that is Whole Foods, and I think Henry's and some local grocery stores have milk in glass bottles that are returnable. So you buy it in Whole Foods, pay a deposit, and then once you're done, you wash it and bring it back, and they give you like $3 back. So that's the best we can do. It also supports local farms. The ones from Whole Foods come from Sharon, Massachusetts. So that's a way to avoid the waste when it comes to milk. Just find the glass containers. The next question says, because I know we're running against the clock. The next question's by Beth Myers. I know Beth. Do you sell reusable bags for purchase of produce at the grocery store? Absolutely. We do have net bags. We have muslin bags. So you can put like flour if you find flour, rice, smaller things that don't come out of the net bags. But yes, we do have a lot of bags here. But if you don't want to buy a set of bags, also be creative. Like I'm not pushing people to buy things. I always tell them, like, if you come to me and say, like, what can I do to avoid paper towels, for example? I do sell paper towels, like reusable paper towels. They are called paper towels. But if you have rags at home, if you have an old towel that you don't use anymore, cut it up and use it. So I'm always going to be a promoter of reusing first and then purchase something. Like, everybody has their own choices and makes their own choices and runs their lives whatever the way you want. But I am a big promoter of don't buy something if you don't need it, even if it's my store and I'm for profit and I live out of this. If you have something at home you can use, just use it. If you have bags at home, just like small bags that you can use for produce and grocery, just use them. Like, I even made a bag out of a t-shirt, and that's where I put my potatoes on. Or don't use a bag. This is a concept that I don't get any. You don't need a bag for your produce. Well, it depends on what you're buying, but me, I go to Shaw's and I put 2 mangoes in my cart, a melon in my cart, or a cantaloupe in my cart, an avocado, I grab a couple of tomatoes, everything is just loose in my car, bananas and everything that I want to buy, just, I don't put them in a bag. What's the bag for? And then I just check everything out and then put it back in the cart and then bag it in my car. That's actually what I was doing all through the pandemic, because you were not allowed to bring reusable bags inside. So I just didn't bring a bag ever. I just went in with a cart or with a basket, those little baskets they have that are everything is gross in a grocery store. But you're gonna wash everything anyway. It's not like you eat the banana with a peel. You don't eat the avocado with the peel. So you wash things, so you're good. So produce really does not need a bag. Just grab things, put them in your car, and then check them out, and then put them in the bags in your car. Or throw everything in just one big reusable bag. So there are ways to do things. That's what I mean when I say I look crazy doing groceries. Okay, I think that's all the questions. Ona.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think we're good. Thank you very much. That was very interesting. And I'm glad we
you.
all had a good conversation after we had a good Q&A. So thank you. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'll see you all next week. And thank you. All right.
Thank you. I'll see you guys here. Come visit me, 156 Cabot Street, Unpacked Living. Unpackedliving.com is the website, and I'm here to help you with anything. Sign up for composting with Blacker Compost or in the city website. And I'm here to answer any other questions you have. Thank you.
Great.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.